Ketenat Arts and Culture jang ke Khuborjylla rengkat ke jinge trelang bat ka Unesco ka Intac ka MBMA hakar puhnyo tarik jemang kila penlong ya ke jing ai jing hikai halor ki Jingkieng jeri Living Root Bridges Cultural Landscape ha Heritage Club Tripura Castle Shillong. Haba ajing kran hakane ke sngi Principal Secretary Forest and Environment Sampat Kumar ulaya thu Pau Menteri Rangba Konrad ke Sama ula thrang pan Pynrung ya ki Jingkieng jeri haka World Heritage UNESCO bat ula kularu ban mang pisa kerpang na kabenta kani ke project. Ula benrap da kabaong shibun ki jingwat Bniah ni ki research ki bala sedang na kabenta ban pet Bniah halor kini ki Jingkieng jeri. Haka bak sorkar ke trelang bat ki Khuborjylla ban Bniah ya kini ki project nang ni syakman. Nakaliang ka Chief of Culture Unit UNESCO New Delhi, South Asia, Regional Office ka Junhi Han, habakran ha kani kasngi kalapan pau ya ka jing sngongu ya ka sorkar Meghalaya kapala wan lam ya ki Khuborjylla ban ti Bniah halor ki Jingkieng jeri. Kalapan rap da ka baong, kini ki Jingkieng jeri ha Meghalaya, ki dei ki bakar pang shisha, ki papan pau ya ka jing esuk ha pedeng ka Mariang bat ki brio. Kalaya ro ya ka Khuborjylla kapalapan pau ya ka jinglong kerpang jang ka jela lengba kini ki Jingkieng jeri bat pen I syaka perthei. Kilong kerpang shisha na Maria kini Samla penwandur de ki bor ki kor henrei da ka sap ka ba uble ula aya kinong syong shnong kalaong. Kala kentu bakum kini de ban penek pensa bat bandri kendong ya ki da ka bahi kairu ya ki khon Samla jong kani ka juk pamenta ban tep ya ka tenrai kumnu ban penek pensa ya kini ki Jingkieng jeri. Nakaliang ukong san Pat Mashri Dr. David R. Samla bat chairman barim ka UPSC habakran hakani ka sngi ulapan pau ka Jingkemen ban shimpentalang hakani ka jinge kendu halor ka pang guiding the preparation of World Heritage Nomination dossier for Jingkieng jeri. Ulaong rupa kini ki Jingkieng jeri kilong ki pedon kampha naga benta kinong syong shnong kam tam ban long ki Jingkieng halor ki wadut haka baki pat ba ki yolat ban kam Shillong kawa haka por liur paslei Shushu ula ongru ki pat ba ki pendon kam da ki jerme ki sed ban beten nanti ya kini ki jerme na Shillong ban ksam lengba ban suthet. Hadin ba kila he kila kelalong kum kalenti ban kam Shillong kini kiwa. Ula ong kini kilong kerpang bat koridor hadu kata-kata naga benta kinong syong shnong. Ula ong ru kini ki Jingkieng jeri ki don ki bala yapno pat dujat. Henry ki don pat ki bedang ne dang sa hadu menta haka ba ki don ki Jingkieng ki bala kenjo palat spas nem. U Dr. Samla ula benrap ya kini ki Jingkieng jeri lalap hakeleng karilum khasi berjantia.
For the dignitaries present here, I request Chief Guest Partner Dr. Ladies and gentlemen, applause please. The traditional Nritya. We have here also with us Ms. Jingkieng, Chief Culture Sector and Program Specialist Unesco, South Asia. Sri Sampat Kumar IAS, Principal the Living Root Bridge painting, the Meghalaya spices.
Babankit has given a beautiful presentation, so I think now we'll call you as a professor. You spoke so well. So what I wanted to say is that, like, what is the importance of this? Just few insights as I want to give, for the submission of UNESCO, especially for Ms. Jumi and the team. See, I think you must have seen from the presentation, like, what we have been trying to do. In fact, this was, the project was started way back in 2018, as mentioned. In fact, our Honorable Chief Minister, Shri Konrad Samla, who actually has got excited when we presented this idea to him that, we have a great proposition to take it to the UNESCO World Heritage status. So he immediately said, like, okay, like, whatever the support that is required, we'll provide for this particular project. So I think with that political supportability, we initiated this project, and then we started, like engaging some of the best experts, very passionate people. In fact, there used to be one researcher who used to work with National Geographic, and we have hired him, and we put him through the project like Mr. Sanjeev Shankar. And then we also identified a local champion like Kang Era who worked in that particular area in cooperative department. So we put very good team, around this one, and we started working on this particular project. And in fact, I want to tell you, we took opportunity during the COVID times, where in fact we got this opportunity for all these 300 plus meetings, community meetings, we organized during the COVID times. So that's the kind of thing. So we used to get have these meetings, and this entire idea of forming the cooperative also has come up through that process. So today, I think we learned, in fact, a lot of discoveries happening through this project, the kind of a value proposition that this project has. So much discovery that we could able to find out. Basically, we are following essentially, I would like to tell you, there is a lot of research has been brought in. You must have seen through this project, like the kind of researchers, research institutions that have been engaged to prepare this dossier. And there's a lot of research was happening. At the same time, we also have invested a lot on community participation. That is a very important thing. So Meghalaya is a state actually which has especially the community governance is there. How to bring that strength into this project. So we in fact deliberately we actually built this project as it is nominated by the communities along with the government. So government is a supporting institution, but it is the communities who are actually bringing this entire idea before the world. So that was a kind of a stance that we have taken. And then we also actually, not only that, we also have been investing a third thing, the institution building. So in fact, you all aware, Meghalaya has, this is again a good example. Today, the art and culture department has taken this forward. So while MBBA or MBMA are working as a technical organizations, building that entire knowledge, and then giving it to the department so that it can be sustained for longer. So that's the kind of an idea. So that's where the beautiful a model of governance actually has been envisaged in this project, so that for the sustainability of the project and also to bring that outstanding universal value out of this project. So I think that's something that I would like to present to everyone. But this is something very I really thank the UNESCO team actually for having come here, because this again our Chief Minister met the UNESCO the leadership at Paris I think last year, along with Mr. Frederick Khubor and also our CS man. We were also there, I suppose, Madam Magdalene and others who were there, who brought this entire idea before them, and that's why this visit is happening. And we're glad that during this visit, during this technical session, we'll get much more concrete, basically a compelling reason why actually this needs to be actually recognized as UNESCO World Heritage status. So in terms of two things. One, it tremendous value to the young people. You must be seeing these young people who are sitting behind you. They're all young conservation people who are part of this entire work, living root with work, these cooperatives. So all these young people can be involved in this beautifully, and they can really become the champions, climate champions for the whole world. So that's something, that is one idea. And the other idea also, it also brings a lot of the hope is that it brings a lot of value in terms of economic value to the people who are actually doing this work. So with this few words, I would like to again thank everyone for participating in this workshop, and also thank you especially for the UNESCO team. Thank you.
To be here in Shillong today on behalf of UNESCO's South Asia office for this important workshop on the Living Root Bridge, Jingkieng, a truly unique cultural landscape that speaks to the harmony between people and nature. First, I'd like to extend our warm thanks to the government of Meghalaya for their warm welcome and for their sustained efforts to bring international attention to this extraordinary heritage. I also would like to extend my sincere appreciation to the Meghalaya Basin Development Authority, community members, scientists, experts, and government partners who have tirelessly worked over the past several years to conserve and document these living structures. The Living Roots Bridge, or Jingkieng of Meghalaya, are truly unique in the world, shaped not by machines or modern tools, but by generations of indigenous knowledge. These structures represent a rare confluence of ecology, resilience, and tradition. They embody not only the ingenuity of the people who tend them, but also a way of life that respects the natural environment, values intergenerational learning, and lives in deep dialogue with the rhythm of the land. As you know, UNESCO has been advocating for a holistic approach for heritage, one that goes beyond the physical monument to include the living practices, beliefs, and community systems that give meaning to places. These principles, strongly reinforced by the NEHU's conference and its call for action, highlights the interconnectedness between built heritage and living heritage, and urges all of us to view heritage as a dynamic system where tangible and intangible elements are inseparable. UNESCO deeply values traditional knowledge system and recognizes that the long-term safeguarding of these systems depends on their transmission to future generations. Today, we will reflect on how we can best support the government of Meghalaya in safeguarding and transmitting this remarkable traditional knowledge that makes the Living Roots Bridge possible. This workshop is not only about inscription, but also about recognition. Recognition of community agency, recognition of innovation born from tradition, and recognition of the responsibility we all share in preserving such knowledge system. We deeply appreciate the government of Meghalaya for supporting this unique and outstanding site, and for actively involving and empowering the community in this process. Such inclusive and community-led efforts are essential for the long-term safeguarding and celebration of heritage. Thank you. I look forward to our discussion and to learning from all of you. Thank you so much.
My dear friend Frederick Khubor invited me for this function when I'm a historian and not an environmentalist. But I do have something to say, and I've read up and I've mentored 2 books on the living root bridges. It gives me much pleasure to address this gathering in today's workshop on guiding and preparation of World Heritage Nomination dossier for Jingkieng, Living Root Bridge Cultural Landscape. I join the government of Meghalaya and the people of Meghalaya in welcoming the visiting UNESCO team to our state. Trust, madam, you have a happy and fruitful visit to our abode of clothes. Your site visit tomorrow to several of the living root bridges will be a remarkable trek. The earliest reference of the living root bridges in the Khasi and Jangkieng hills was Henry Yule's Notes on the Khasi people, Hills and People, published in the Journal of the Asiatic Society of Bengal, 1844. It provided a sketch of a root bridge across the Temshum. Just mention is made of Temshum. It's not a river or a stream, but just at Pynrung, and I wonder whether it's been located, because that would be the first location and sketch that anybody has done. He mentions the trade in oranges, pineapple and betel nut that these bridges facilitated in the southern foothills of the Khasi Hills. This was followed by the botanist Joseph Dalton Hooker, with his keen sense of observation in Notes of a Naturalist. It's a 2-volume Himalayan journal published in 1855. It also provides a sketch and a description wherein he writes, "The property of their roots which inosculate and form natural grass is taken advantage of in bridging streams and in constructing what are called living bridges of the most picturesque form." Here perhaps is the first, if not the earliest reference to the term living bridges. I did a check on the internet the other day, wondering who was the first person to make a reference to the living bridges. And it is you. But then we have to find out whether such a phenomenon was also reported in other languages. We are so obsessed to English, and we need to find out from others whether they have also made a reference to the living bridges. Botanists have made very elaborate and fascinating studies on various aspects of the Ficus elastica, their location and environment, their planting and growth and their numbers across the southern slopes of the Meghalaya plateau. It is noted that villagers tie the aerial roots of the rubber tree to both ends of streams to pieces of bamboo, which then help guide these roots towards each other and intertwine. The process of this botanic architecture can take 20 to 30 years. The ficus roots are also made, and this is not mentioned, and I wish it could be. The ficus roots are also made in the construction of ladders and platforms, such as at Unyu village and several other locations. I think we've been making a reference to the living root bridges, but at the same time there are platforms and ladders that perhaps need mention in the dossier. These bridges connect remote villages through steep and precipitous terrain across deep gorges and valleys. Such bridges enable the Khasi giantess over millennia. How old is this? It is worried that it could be 500 years or more. And there's a mention today that it could be a 2,000-year tradition that we have inherited.
Of Meghalaya went to Paris and met with the Assistant Director General for Culture of Unesco, Dr. Otone, and talk about this living root, Jingkieng. And he was very impressed by the living root, but not only by living roots, but all the traditional knowledge of the community, which made this living root such a special. So the headquarters, they contacted us and to see the areas where we can provide technical assistance to the government of Meghalaya and also to the community, especially in transmitting this traditional knowledge system and inventorizing those incredible living roots. But of course, we also realized that these living roots and the whole landscape nearby goes far beyond just, tradition. There is also belief system, there is also way of living system, and especially the capacity of community to survive the environment, which means the resilience. So the living roots actually represent a lot of items, a lot of things. So of course, right now the concern of the government is to finalize the World Heritage nomination dossier. So of course, since we are here, we will definitely advise if there is a bit of area that need more discussion, more brainstorming. Definitely, we are here for it. But our coming here goes beyond the World Heritage nomination dossier, because UNESCO as a whole, we would like to see this tradition continues. So transmission of all this traditional knowledge is very important. And then of course, I understand now that this tradition of building living root has been almost 2,000 years, and along with all these is associated elements together. But I also understand some living roots have already lots of tourists. So that the community now need to have some system to manage. And in this process, sometimes the transmission of knowledge can be endangered or disrupted. So we feel that it is very important now that we all sit together to discuss how to ensure the transmission of this traditional knowledge which build these living roots. But this is also important because when one site wants to be in the list of World Heritage, the committee also look at the capacity to conserve. So conserving this traditional knowledge has a very close linkage with also the World Heritage, the inscription.